So I'm here today with Scott Johnson from Building Fortunes Radio, but he also has multiple other platforms where he talks about the Amway tool scam. I wanted to get his opinion on CC Suarez. Good morning, Scott, or good evening to you in Texas.
Yes, good evening from Texas and good morning to you in Australia, Glenn.
Awesome. So I wanted to get what you thought of CC Suarez. We're going through the process of gauging Scott's opinions on all the really big anti-MLMers. So what do you make of CC Suarez?
Well, first of all, even a big anti-MLMer is not very big in the grand scheme of things, um, because maybe they have tens of millions of views. I'm not tens of millions, tens of thousands of views, but it's probably pretty much the same people over and over and over again. So when you look at it as far as the population of the country, it's really small, and so I think that her influence is exaggerated as far as what she's doing. But she strikes me as a sort of a mean girl. I mean, she's always talking about, the the MLM Huns, and going after them personally, and talking about their appearance, or how they say things, and it's just really, high school girlish type clicky talk, and she just goes on and on like that, and she has an audience, and she makes some money, so that's what she does. But as far as bringing more attention to MLM scams, I don't think she's doing very much.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting take. So she has 105,000 subscribers. Her videos have been viewed 22 million times. 22,211,768 times. So over 22 million times. Now, I think what's interesting about that is I've got no doubt a lot of people might have only seen her videos once or twice, but that may have been enough to stop them from joining the MLM they'd been prospected for. So imagine if somebody, I just think about my own story. So when I was prospected for Amway, it wasn't Amway, it was Y2K. Imagine if YouTube had been a thing back in 2001 and I had been able to type Y2K into YouTube, and CC Suarez had to come up talking about, so not Y2K, A2K. A2K is in fact Amway, and over 99% of everyone who joins loses money. That would have been enough for me to have not joined Amway. And maybe even it may have been enough for my father to not join Amway, and he's now been in for, this is his 23rd year. So you don't have to watch it over and over again for it to change your life. So I've got no doubt CC, there's been a lot of people who would have joined companies like Amway who haven't because of the videos. And from 22 million views, if only say half of 1% of those views have helped people like that, then she's made a huge difference. But what's CC saying that you disagree with? Where do you think she's going wrong?
Well, mainly she doesn't know what she's talking about. I don't think I've ever heard her talk about the importance of retail sales. I don't think I've ever heard her talk about the tool scam. She's just doing this little nitpicky stuff, just kind of, like I said, like a junior high school clicky girl, that's just constantly nitpicking at different things, but not really understanding the big picture, and the fact that if the people who are against MLMs don't work together, if they just stay in their own little bubble, very little is going to happen.
Yeah, I agree with some of that, but not other parts. I definitely agree with you on 100% that anti-MLMers need to start to work together. And as I've said to you numerous times, whether you like the person or you despise the person, if an anti-MLMer gets sued, then we must all stick together and get behind that YouTuber. We must make sure that more people see the banned video than would have seen it if they hadn't have taken the legal action. So I agree with you that she's could do better there. I disagree with you about the retail sales. I think she goes in. I think she talks a lot about the fact that the only people that are buying the products are the distributors or the IBOs or whatever term you want to give them. So I think she's doing a reasonable job there. When it comes to the tool scam, I agree with you. There was famously a video that I'm going to play at the end of this where someone mentioned Dexter Yager, and she said, "Who the fuck is Dexter Yager?" She'd never heard of Dexter Yager before. Now, I find this staggering because to me, Dexter Yager is the man who invented the tools, invented the motivation, and is one of the most important people in multi-level marketing. But in her defense, she's a person that wasn't from Amway. I think that the company that she was in, the tools weren't as big as what they are in Amway. I think clearly Amway has the biggest tool scam. Do you agree with that, Scott?
Yeah, I do. And I question, even if she mentions that most of the products are bought by the distributor, does she understand why that is a problem?
I would argue she does. I mean, the fact is, unless the majority of the products are being bought by outside people, there's legal ramifications that makes it illegal. But also, just a simple fact that if the majority of the products are being bought by people who are IBOs or distributors, that means that the overwhelming vast majority of people are going to lose money. So yeah, I do get your frustration with people like CC not talking about the tool scam. I was very... if you have a look at the first time I was ever on Building Fortunes Radio, I was really, really frustrated that nobody was talking about the tool scam and nobody really was talking about Amway in the anti-MLM community. I feel like that's starting to change though, with people like Marco and Julie Anderson, even Heather Chi, all talking about the Amway tool scam because it's a major, major part of this problem. But yeah, so who's worse do you think, CC or always Marco?
No, always Marco is always the worst because he's wrong all the time. He's stupid. Anyone that wants to hang out with a known and self-avowed, by the way, cocaine dealer, and you can go to Rumble and look at my account, which is Tex. It's TEX, all one word. And you'll see the video that he did a couple years ago where he basically was talking very openly about being a cocaine dealer. So, it's not any kind of a secret, except he took the video down, and now people have to become aware of it on Rumble. But that doesn't erase the fact that he was a cocaine dealer,
Scott,
or that he talked about ripping off companies and lying and all these other things that he does. Because I'm willing to work with anybody except Marco.
That's a problem because Marco is the man who would get you the most views. So I think that's a real problem, and you're sort of doing yourself a bit of a disservice there because you are an expert on the Amway tool scam. You are an expert on the tool scam in general. But by not talking with Marco, it means that less people are going to hear what you have to say, which is very, very important stuff. But you have to, if you compare Marco with CC, Marco has done videos about Dexter Yager. Marco does talk about the Amway tool scam. So I'm surprised that you can't say, well, I despise Marco, he's a terrible human being, but credit to Marco for talking about Dexter Yager and talking about the Amway tool scam. That really surprises me.
Well, I'll give him a 2 out of 10 for that. There you go.
Okay, but aren't you giving CC a 2 out of 10 as well?
Yeah, I put them all in kind of the same boat. If they support each other, then they're all down somewhere in that area.
Okay, so we've said in the past, so Sean Munger, you rate very highly. Who else gets above a 2?
I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. That's now we did have I can't remember her real name, but she goes.
Stacey has never talked about Dexter Yager. I don't even know who the fuck that is. Why would I talk about him if I don't know who it is? Are you a million years old? Is that why that's not Asia, shut up. Is that why you are like really wanting me to, who the fuck is Dexter Yager? Dexter Yager, he's a network marketing douchebag, okay? Oh, he did. Passed away January 6th. Where was he? I'm just kidding. One of my like favorite things is to ask, not to ask people, but to like obviously jokingly be like, where were you on January 6th? Where were you on 9/11? Sorry. Yager was described as the grandfather of network marketing and the father of modern MLM. How can you be the grandfather and the father of something? That sounds like incest. Yeah, I don't care about this dude. He's not relevant. Relevant? No. Yeah. Relevant. There we go.
Dream. Give yourself time to succeed. Make up your mind, I will be there. That's it. Period.
Among leaders.
The biggest star ever in this business is Mr. Dexter Yager.
Today is the first day of the rest of your life.
An opportunity comes to each one of us.
The information is
This is you. You can become bigger than me. But I'll guarantee you'll have your tongue hanging out when you go by. 5 and 6 nights a week. 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 You're going to have your dropouts. You're going to have your quitters. You know, there's always somebody that could have done everything, but they never did. And they always have a good excuse. Life is always a challenge. It's not what happens, it's how you handle it. Take on the challenge. Show them what you're made of. Everybody said it was impossible. But through my faith, I can accomplish something. Bertie and I have always cared about people. And we got to teach people they can be anything they want to be. And that successful people do believe in it. And tell people success depends upon you and what you do. It's in your hands. Dynamite. Success story really is Bertie's and my marriage and our closeness. When so many people got married in our age and since didn't make it. Bertie's my 17-year-old girlfriend. I like to tell people I have a 17-year-old girlfriend because she was 17 when I married her, and she's still my girlfriend. I wanted to be the big achiever for Bertie, and I think more than anything else, I wanted to be her hero. I wanted to be the man that supplied the good things in life to her. Diamond, 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 diamond. Have the heartbeat of a diamond, diamond. One of the most important things in everybody's life is to have a dream.
And the dream, being that what fuels us, is what creates our passion, what keeps us going.
People have asked us since we were 30 when we're going to retire. And we just say, we're not going to retire, we're going to retire. We love living life in the fast lane. We love living in the young lane.
We've been able to travel around the world and help other people in other countries build this business and change their lives.
We believe the best thing we can do is to help people stand on their own 2 feet. The secret of living is giving. It's dreaming. It's loving other people. And love is the glue that holds us all together.
When people said nothing good can come out of Rome, New York, Dex and Bertie, you have done what no one else has ever done.
Success is a progressive realization of a worthwhile dream. It starts with a dream. You gotta have a dream. See, I know a guy that was dating a girl